Do you remember the last time you felt completely at ease when opening a food package from Kirkland? Just because of the familiar label on the packaging, we forget that even the so-called golden brands can one day be recalled, sued, or exposed. Costco built trust on convenience and price, but that trust is now shaking. From salmon contaminated with bacteria to mineral water harboring microbes from organic eggs, raising alarm to the snacks you give your child every afternoon. Many of these have been recalled, investigated, or at the very least harshly questioned by the community. Millions of Americans have turned away, only you didn't know. These are 7 Kirkland foods you should never touch. We're going to tell you a story no one wants to hear. Watch until the end to see how the name you trust the most might be the one silently poisoning you. Number 1. Smoked salmon. For millions of Americans, Costco is more than just a shopping place. It's a place people trust. Kirkland. Smoked salmon is even more special. It's the kind of product you toss into your cart without reading the label because you think, it's Kirkland, it must be fine. Even when people out there are talking about contamination, preservatives, or radiation, you still feel you have a reason to trust this item is safe. But if you have a pack sitting in your fridge right now, I suggest you stop. Because after this, you might want to call your doctor and book a full checkup. Kirkland smoked salmon was just recalled by the FDA after being found to contain the bacteria Listeria monocytogenes.
Was the latest retailer to remove food over concerns of safety. Acme Smoked Fish has issued a voluntary recall of specific packages of Kirkland smoked salmon. It's due to possible listeria concerns.
Not just a regular warning. The FDA classified this as a Class 1 recall, the highest danger level, meaning it can cause serious health consequences or death. This isn't the kind of light diarrhea or stomachache that goes away. Listeria is a slow killer, especially for people over 65 or with weakened immune systems. According to the CDC, nearly 20% of Listeria patients die, and almost all 94% require hospitalization. What makes Listeria dangerous is not only its severity, but the way it attacks you. It doesn't strike immediately. It waits. From the time you eat, it can take up to 70 days before symptoms appear. You won't remember. A quick bite of salmon while working, a weekend breakfast with toast. And then one day you feel headaches, stiff neck, nausea, loss of balance. You think it's age or a cold, but your body is reacting to a bacteria that has already taken hold from the very food you trusted most. Now think about your loved ones. Maybe a 70-year-old friend living alone who often chooses this product because it's tasty and convenient. They don't follow recall news. They don't check product codes. They trust the Kirkland label. And when symptoms come, they don't know why. They don't get checked in time. By the time they make it to the hospital, it's too late. Some ask, how can you tell if you're infected? The answer is, you can't. The symptoms are vague, slow, easy to mistake. Some live for weeks feeling fatigued, then suddenly collapse. It all started with that familiar pack of salmon, and it might still be sitting in your fridge right now. If you or your loved ones have Kirkland smoked salmon, check the code immediately. If it's lot 8512801270, stop using it and return it right away. But even if it's not that lot, you should still ask yourself, is it worth the risk? Don't let breakfast turn into tragedy. Don't let a favorite food become a nightmare. And to avoid wasting money on foods others are already steering clear of, let's move on to the second name on this list. Number 2. Organic pasture-raised eggs. When you walk into Costco wanting to buy something healthy, not fancy, but everyday, easy to cook, easy to eat, organic eggs are always on the list. But if you've got a carton of Kirkland 24-count eggs in your fridge, you need to know one thing. That's not just eggs, it's risk. According to an FDA announcement, Handsome Brook Farms recalled more than 10,800 cartons of Kirkland organic eggs over suspected salmonella contamination. This isn't a light warning. The FDA classified it at the highest level, meaning it can cause serious illness or death if consumed.
There is an egg recall that you might need to know about. Nearly 11,000 cartons of organic eggs sold at 25 Costco stores are being recalled due to a potential risk of salmonella contamination.
Is voluntarily recalling nearly 11,000 of its organic eggs. The 24-count packages of organic pasture-raised eggs were sold under the Kirkland signature brand. The recall is due to a potential risk of salmonella contamination. The eggs were distributed to 25 Costco's.
What makes this case alarming isn't just the number of eggs, but the trust being branded on them. You pay more to feel safe. You choose pasture-raised because you believe outdoor-raised hens are healthier. But the very outdoor environment, if not tightly controlled, is where salmonella thrives, and you don't know. You never imagined the eggs you planned to fry this morning might send your whole family to the hospital. According to the CDC, salmonella causes about 1.2 million infections in the U.S. every year. 142,000 of those are directly linked to eggs. And more troubling, this year's strain is showing resistance to multiple antibiotics, making treatment harder, especially for the elderly or immunocompromised. Imagine just a simple breakfast of boiled eggs for your mother, and a few days later, she's hospitalized with severe diarrhea, high fever, and uncontrollable heartbeat. You know what's sad? Most of us are lulled by the organic label. Who stops to read the production code? Who remembers which carton was bought on what day? Who imagines that the best eggs could be the most harmful? The problem isn't the egg itself, but a food system that makes us believe paying extra guarantees safety. An egg is supposed to be a humble food, maybe the most familiar in every kitchen. But when it carries pathogens, when it appears every day, yet you can't control it, it becomes a ticking time bomb. Small, silent counting down. The point is, not all organic eggs are dangerous, but never equate organic with safe. One option is buying from small local farms with specific microbial testing. Another is cooking thoroughly. Don't eat raw or runny eggs, especially for the elderly. And if you want to be sure, you should check FDA recall codes regularly. Because a $5 carton of eggs could cost you thousands in hospital bills or worse. The story isn't about eggs, it's about how we trust what we see. Clean labels cannot replace real control. And the reality is, millions are eating salmonella-infected eggs without knowing. Maybe you'll be fine, but maybe the person next to you won't. Don't let something as innocent as an egg steal your loved one's health. In today's world, trust is needed, but vigilance is the smarter choice. And that's exactly why we made this video. Don't leave if you want your meals to be safe. Number 3. Chicken bake. Chicken bake isn't the kind of meal you think twice about. It doesn't ask you to wash vegetables, doesn't need any seasoning. Everything wrapped into a long roll, greasy oozing melted cheese and roasted chicken. But few know that this deliciousness is quietly eroding the health of millions every day. According to data from My Food Diary, just one serving of chicken bake packs 840 calories and 2,650 milligrams of sodium. Meaning if you're middle-aged and not physically active, one meal alone can push you to the recommended daily sodium limit and nearly half your daily energy intake. This isn't just numbers on a label, it's your heartbeat. After climbing stairs, your blood pressure creeping higher at every checkup. You can cut sugar, skip soda, choose whole grains, but if you grab this convenient meal a few times a week, all that effort is wasted. The danger of chicken bake isn't the flavor. It really is tasty, and that's the problem. Soft bread, creamy sauce, stretchy cheese make it addictive. The kind of I'll just eat one that turns into every week. And because it's cheap and easy to buy, it's easy to forget what you're putting in your body. The saturated fat in chicken bake, according to Nutritionix's nutrition analysis, is 11 grams per serving, nearly 60% of the maximum a person should consume in a day. This fat doesn't dissolve in water, doesn't flush out as easily as you think. It quietly builds up in your blood vessels around your liver, raising bad cholesterol and straining your heart. Take a look around Costco at peak hours and you'll see many middle-aged people at the food court thinking they're saving time money, maybe even making a smarter choice than outside fast food. But ask yourself a simple question: if a food has as much sodium as a cheap pack of ramen, as many calories as a KFC double combo, and less fiber than a single banana can, that really be a healthy choice for someone over 50? Chicken bake isn't the only culprit, but it's a perfect example of what Costco is doing, wrapping disease inside something tasty and cheap. Try replacing it with a grilled chicken salad or make your own baked version at home. You'll be surprised it's not that hard. And if you still want to keep your food court habit, just remember, the faster the meal, the slower and heavier the price your body will pay. Number 4. Fresh and ready pre-made foods. Perhaps this is the most shocking item on today's list because it doesn't just appear in quick meals at Costco, but also shows up on food trays in hospitals. Think about it: if a type of food is served right in the place of healing a place for the weakest people, then it should be the cleanest and safest of all. But the truth proves that no food is absolutely safe. On May 10, 2025, Fresh and Ready Foods officially recalled more than 86 ready-to-eat products over suspected contamination with Listeria monocytogenes. The recall list wasn't from some small stall or private restaurant, but included sandwiches, salads, and snacks distributed at many hospitals, airports, and major retailers like Costco. According to the FDA report, among those hospitalized after consuming these products, the majority were elderly or undergoing treatment with already weakened immune systems. They weren't taken down by their main illness, but by the seemingly harmless sandwich someone brought to the hospital room. Food in hospitals always carries a special kind of power default trust. When you're tired, when you're admitted, you don't ask about origin, you don't read the ingredient list. You just eat trusting that someone else already checked. But this time, that very trust was betrayed. And what makes it scarier is this wasn't an individual mistake, but a system failure. According to FDA investigations, some production lines weren't cleaned properly, allowing bacteria to accumulate and spread silently through thousands of portions each day. That means it wasn't just one faulty batch, but an entire system quietly sending bacteria everywhere, from Costco to nursing homes, from airports to hospital rooms. The question is, why could a food once placed on a hospital tray become such a major threat? And if that happened in a place supposed to have the strictest standards, then what about other places? Airports, schools, nursing homes? Perhaps it's time we changed our thinking. Shouldn't foods served in hospitals also have transparent testing procedures, clear sourcing, and a public recall history just like any other packaged product? Because nothing is worse than trusting the wrong thing. When you eat something in a hospital, you're not just looking for calories, you're looking for safety. And if the one thing you trust no longer guarantees that, then what do you have left to hold on to? Number 5. Bacon and breakfast sausage. That fragrant strip of Kirkland bacon you trust every weekend morning might not actually be just meat. In a new report, many of Costco's bacon and sausage products were found to contain quite a lot of additives and water, so much that the real meat sometimes made up only about 73% of the weight. Kirkland has said they use sodium nitrite or celery juice powder to keep the pink color and extend shelf life. But if you've ever read the WHO report, you know, those can react into nitrosamines, which were classified as a high risk factor for colorectal cancer. Just about 50 grams a day, and your risk can rise by up to 18%. And the real point is, you don't just eat one strip a week. It's what you put in breakfast, brunch, or even late night snacking because it's convenient. Many people think Kirkland's processed meats are safer because they're sold at Costco big brand clear labels. But what they don't see is that these products are still made in the industrial way, lots of sodium preservatives and maybe additives we don't notice. And that becomes even more dangerous when the product is taken as fine, just because you see it every time you shop sitting among hundreds of other trusted items. The story doesn't end at health. When bacon is seen as a convenient, cheap, easy-to-cook food, it easily becomes a habit you never question. But that habit repeated week after week, month after month, stops being a small issue. It's something that gnaws at your health in the most silent way, and you won't see the results immediately. It doesn't make you tired right away. It just raises your blood markers slowly until the doctor sitting across from you next time shakes his head instead of nodding. You don't have to quit entirely, but you could try another option. Eat less choose cleaner cooking. Try a homemade version. Most importantly, don't blindly toss it into the cart just out of habit. Because once you let habit decide your health, you've already handed control over to someone else. And if you think Kirkland bacon is the peak of health betrayal, just wait for the next part. Another item that seems like an exception but also lands on this list. Number 6. Bottled water. If there's one thing you could trust absolutely at Costco, it would be bottled water. No color, no smell, no taste. Nothing could be wrong with water. That's what you always think. Right? Millions of Americans thought the same. Until you find out Kirkland's signature bottled water isn't taken from any natural spring at all, but is actually processed by Niagara Bottling, a company that treats tap water and bottles it. They filter, add minerals, cap it. Sounds reasonable enough. But then a specialist from Oasis analyzed the content and found something no one wants to drink: thousands of microplastic particles in each bottle. You're not mistaken. A study from the NIH showed there can be up to 240,000 microplastic particles in every liter of bottled water. These particles, smaller than a blood cell, can enter your blood, your liver, even your brain. And while science hasn't yet nailed down exactly what happens when microplastics live in your body for decades, just imagining it is enough to chill your spine. Some say, well, tap water has plastic too, maybe even worse. But at least with tap water, you have the choice to filter it, install a purifier, or boil it. With that Kirkland bottle, you buy 40 bottles at once because it looks convenient, clean, cheap. You never check the source, because from the start, you trusted it. And here's another detail: few notice elderly people are often the biggest bottled water drinkers. They're afraid of tap water, they think the purer the better, but their weaker immune systems make them more vulnerable to the tiniest things. Pseudomonas, a type of bacteria that once forced Coca-Cola to recall its Topo Chico water, can cause blood or lung infections in the weak. There's no guarantee Kirkland won't face the same issue when its water comes from the same type of processing. You don't have to throw away every bottled water at home, but maybe it's time to stop thinking buying at Costco means safe. Maybe you should look more closely at the simplest thing, because it's the one most easily overlooked. And if you're wondering, so what's left to trust? Then wait for the next item. The final name on today's list will make you doubt and completely change your eating habits. Number 7. Chocolate chip cookie. No one thinks a tiny cookie could be something to watch out for, especially when you always keep a few in your bag for a sugar dip at work or while waiting in line at the store. Or maybe it's the treat you slip into your grandchild's hand every time they come running to hug you. A Kirkland chocolate chip cookie sweet soft. A little sticky that makes people feel loved. So when you hear this name is on today's list, many will laugh or doubt. But keep listening. Just one small Kirkland cookie looking innocent enough contains more than 22 grams of sugar. Sounds like nothing. But actually, that's nearly the full amount you should consume in a day if you're an average healthy adult. And usually the ones choosing this cookie are people who should be careful seniors, those with a history of diabetes, or anyone trying to eat in moderation. Not to mention the saturated fat is so high that one cookie already hits half the daily limit. And that's not all. Some ingredients in Kirkland cookies make independent experts frown. For example, titanium dioxide banned in food in Europe for its potential to damage DNA linked to cancer with long-term buildup. In the US, it's not banned, but that doesn't mean harmless, especially when it's in the snack you casually give children thinking it's just sweets everyone likes it. To be fair, Kirkland cookies have never been recalled. They still sit neatly on shelves in clear plastic boxes looking harmless. But precisely because they seem too safe, too comfortable, people forget to look closer. Forget to check or simply to ask, what am I really eating? You might think, oh, come on, one cookie won't hurt. But the problem is eating without thinking, treating it as a habit. Then one day the body tires, blood vessels react, insulin goes out of control, and you don't know why. The hardest part of staying healthy isn't giving up the obviously harmful foods, but admitting that even the things you love might need rethinking, especially when you're older, when you've begun to understand the body's small warning signals. So if tomorrow you still slip a cookie into your pocket on the way to work, that's fine. As long as you know and you choose consciously, even if you've gotten used to Kirkland as the default safe choice at Costco, this series of information shows even the most trusted brands are not free from risk. What do you think about this list? Is there an item you used to eat every week that now makes you shiver? Or do you have tips for choosing smarter foods when shopping at Costco? Don't hesitate to share. Below, we'd love to hear your experiences. If you found this video useful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss the next content where we tell the stories mainstream media often ignores. The analysis in this video is based on current data and independent perspectives, not meant to give absolute predictions about the future or cause confusion. We hope this information helps the community reflect and take timely action.
This video does not promote division within the United States or encourage segregation. All content is presented for the purpose of exploration, analysis, and fostering discussion based on current events, public sentiment, and social trends. We fully respect the United States Constitution and all federal regulations. If today's analysis made you think, drop a comment so we can keep the conversations going. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you will never miss our next independent deep dive.